What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Nick here, back with a new Modern Cube draft. My first one was great. I took down a trophy, and I'm hoping to follow that up with a semi-successful draft here. What do we have to pick from? There's Griselbrand. I like Legion Warboss a lot. There's Sheldock Isle. Sheldock Isle's really good, as is something like Bloodbraid Elf. Well, I tend to go for aggressive strategies. That's just what I like to do. I like to play aggro. And in that case, I think Legion Warboss is probably the best pick for me. I think Wormcoil Engine is probably the most flexible card. And Bloodbraid is pretty close in power level to Legion Warboss. But I'm going to take Legion Warboss. It keeps me open to going into white instead of green. So that's what I picked there. What do we have here? Threads of Disloyalty is very good. But Sarkhan is also quite good, and it keeps us in only one color. I'm going to try not to branch out of red unless I have to. And I don't have to in this instance because Sarkhan's a great card. I don't have to sacrifice much to stay in just red. I could see taking like Selfless Spirit. That's an aggressive card. Monastery Swiftspear's not great. I think Doomblade is pretty good. I could take that here as well. But I'm going to take Sarkhan. Wow. Well, Goblin Chain Whirler is probably better than Lightning Bolt in power level, but it's tough to imagine that we're going to be able to stay in just red. To me, that seems like a stretch. You can't necessarily guarantee that you're going to be able to support a monocolored idea. I would love to play Goblin Chain Whirler, but maybe it comes back around on the wheel. Like if I take Lightning Bolt, there's a chance that Chain Whirler comes back. Probably a reasonable chance, too. So I'm just going to take Lightning Bolt. Phoenix of Ash seems interesting. Flying Haste for 3. That's pretty good. Probably a good bit better than Shivan Fire. What would I be passing here? Anything of note? Not really. Repeal. That's about it. We'll take the Phoenix. And I'm liking the way this is going so far. Especially seeing a Goblin Guide. 5th pick. I mean, that's fantastic. For me, of course. Passing an Ancestral Vision. Scrap Heap Scrounger. Solemn Simulacrum. I'm going to straighten up this mana base real quick. And take Earthshaker Kendra. Our first 2-drop. A fairly decent one. It has Eternalize. It can trade and come back. Gets in there for some immediate damage. And does the job of dispatching my opponent quickly. Passing a Lightning Helix. Seems altogether fine. And the red may have dried up by now. I'm surprised to see Mind Stone there. That's a great card. There's no reason for that to be there, in my opinion. Now, I can either take Fight with Fire, or I could take something like Bitter Blossom. Bitter Blossom is a really strong card. You just play this early on, and it can accumulate an advantage that wins the game. I definitely like Bitter Blossom much more than Fight with Fire. This is a difficult one. I'm going to take Bitter Blossom. And I may not play that, but I might not have played Fight with Fire anyway. There's Tarmogoyf, Dreadhorde Arcanist, and Searing Blaze. Now, Searing Blaze is a really good card. Sulphur Falls, how is that still there? Stratus Dancer? Okay, I have to think here, because while Searing Blaze is good, there's other good cards in here, like a 2-1 flying for 2 is very good. And Sulphur Falls being there means that blue might be open. I'm going to take Searing Blaze, though. I think it's the safest bet there, given that I could actually be a mono red deck. I'll take Ultimate Price. Maybe over Bloodbraid Elf. This one is difficult. I think Bloodbraid Elf is much better than Ultimate Price, but I've already picked a black card. I don't know yet. I'm going to pick the Bloodbraid Elf. Swift Spear is fine. Surprising to see Selfless Spirit come all the way back around on the wheel. Not sure how that's possible. But it's not for us. Okay, Chain Whirler came back. Okay, well, we may be playing mono red. That is a distinct possibility. Now, if I could rate how successful that first pack was, I would give it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Because we've taken such command of this one color that we may be able to realistically play mono red. And it's not impossible to play Bloodbraid Elf with just a couple pieces of mana fixing. It's a 4-drop. We don't need to have green mana until turn 4. So if we had, like, let's say, 2 forests and 2 dual lands and all the rest mountains, that would be plenty, you know, to still support Goblin Chain Whirler. One of the things that's hard about drafting one color is that you are often pigeonholed into certain selections in this pack. Like, I have to pick Siege Gang Commander. I don't really have much of a choice. So you kind of live and die by what you get at this point. I could take Gruul Signet to synergize with Bloodbraid Elf, but that would be bad. We're going to take Siege Gang Commander. And again, our strategy is dictated to us. We're taking Purphoros. It's kind of remarkable that we can even support this card, but being that we're mono red, it's quite fine. So we'll take that. Hero of Oxid Rage. I'd love to see it. This card is great for us. Does exactly what we would want to do. We're a little bit light on 2-drops. That's what we're going to hope to see. But this deck is looking fantastic, if I say so myself. Has the makings of what could be a trophy-winning deck, I think, already. Oh yeah, the best red 2-drop probably in the cube. Kari Zev. This just gets so much work done. It deals a lot of damage very quickly. And maybe the next best 2-drop in the cube in Porcelain Legionnaire. It's not a red card, at least on the surface, but it certainly is in spirit. The soul of the card is definitely red. 3/1 first strike for 2. It's fantastic. So we're given a choice between Forked Bolt and Dismissive Pyromancer. Dismissive Pyromancer impressed me a lot in the previous draft. The ability to filter your draws, like discarding lands to draw into action, is super good in strategies that are red. It also, gives us another proactive 2-drop. It applies pressure. And it's a removal spell in a pinch. So I think it's just a bit better than Forked Bolt. I would like to have Forked Bolt to synergize with my Swift Spear and to give me some flexibility with removal, but I'm going to take the Pyromancer. Wow, On-Crop Crasher. We're getting everything we would hope to be passed into. I think we're probably the only mono-red drafter, which is great. It's exactly where you would hope to be. Crasher's just really good. It's another 3-drop that does what we would want it to do, so. There we go. Wow, Ferocidon or Lava Coil. I tend to lean to the side of the creature over the removal spell. I think in this case, it's somewhat close. There's also Phyrexian Metamorph. This card is not to be scoffed at. I'm very surprised to see it come this late. As well as a Polluted Delta. Like, all the cards in this pack are awesome. It's really surprising to see all the things here. I'm going to take the Dinosaur, though. I like creatures just a little bit more than removal spells. So that's what I'll take there. We will take Roast. Roast seems good. Abrade. It's fine. Again, surprising to see Brazen Borrower. How's that still there? Serum Visions. Pretty surprising to see all that still there in the pack. Well, there's a Blood Crypt. Now, I don't think this is going to incentivize me into playing Bitter Blossom, but it's at least possible, right? I don't see myself playing Crater Claws, but it's got to be the pick there. Bedlam Reveler, Storm's Wrath. We'll take the Storm's Wrath, I guess. Both those cards are equally unlikely for us to play. Avalanche Riders is a possibility. We could certainly play a card like that. And it's hard to believe that we still have a pack to pick from, right? We could make a deck with this right now and probably win matches. But the prospect of having other cards to select from, pretty sweet. Pretty sweet if I do say so myself. Well, Goblin Rabblemaster is great. We have Legion Warboss and Goblin Rabblemaster. Wow. That's going to get out of hand quickly for our opponent. Equally as good as Legion Warboss. And it synergizes with some things we have already, like Siege Gang Commander and the Warboss himself. Definitely the card for us there. Nothing too great for us here, but Embereth Shieldbreaker is a fine card to play. It's a 2-1 for 2 that has some upside. Can be used to destroy artifacts. What's Collective Defiance? Target opponent a Planeswalker, 3 to a creature. I'm not too in on a card like this. It's not very focused. It doesn't do the job of, like, ending my opponent like another creature would. Bone Crusher Giant. There we go. This card is great. The ability to pay 2 and remove something and then play a creature for, card advantage is really nice in a deck like this. We'd be passing Pia Nalaar, Phyrexian Revoker. Totally fine with me. Experimental Frenzy is a card that you really need to build around. I don't know how this is in the cube. I think it's just too hard to play with a card like this. You can't play cards from your hand. Just seems too debilitating to me. If I had more of a Black Splash going, I would consider Midnight Reaper or maybe Kroxa. But here I'm just going to take Pia and Kira Nalaar. We're given 3 options here in Char, Abbot of Carolkeep, and Banefire. Banefire is a nice finisher, but our deck is pretty low to the ground. I don't see a reason to venture from a speedy strategy, so I think it's better to take the creature here. Even as just a 2-1 prowess for 2, I think it's going to outperform Char and Banefire. Ooh, Kiki Jiki, Figure of Destiny. Well, 1-drops are at a premium in our deck. We want to lead with one every game if we can, and Figure represents one of the best ones that we could open. It gives us a mana sink. It solves problems by growing, and if we run out of cards, it gives us something to do with that mana. It's tempting to take Kiki-Jiki, believe me. Copying things like CJ and Commander or Avalanche Riders, even like Hero of Oxid Rage. It has a lot of applications in our deck that would be great, and it's only a 5-mana card. Like, it's close here, but I have to take Figure. I think it's just gotta be better. Grim Lavamancer's actually not that great of a card. I don't think it's gonna make the main deck here. We have so many playables. There's a chance. I just don't think it's a great one. But it has to be the best card for us here, right? I mean, could we take Mutavault? It's tough to say we want Mutavault when we're playing Goblin Chainwhirler, right? But that being said, yeah, I just don't know about Mutavault in a deck like this. We have Searing Blaze to cast. It's close. It's actually really close. They never give you enough time to make these decisions. I'm taking Grim Lavamancer. Okay, well, this is actually a tough decision between Koth and Ire Shaman. Ire Shaman is a 2/1 menace for 2, which is an aggressively costed creature. Sort by converted mana cost here. But Koth... Koth might just be better. It's close. It was very close there. I take the Koth. And because we're mono red, we can't really venture out and play any of these. We'll take Wildfire. Collective Defiance seems fine. No, we'll take Blackcleave Cliffs. We'll take the Pia. And a bunch of stuff that we cannot play. Char we could play. And now we'll build a deck. Well, that was a really great draft. I would have liked to open some more premium red 2-drops. I'm not even sure what they are and where they would have been taken by our opponents. But we didn't get completely hosed in that department. We have, I think, 5 proactive 2-drops in Kari Zev, the Shield Breaker, which is our worst one, of course, Kendra, Pyromancer, and Abbott. There's 27 cards in this main deck. I could definitely see playing 16 lands in a brew like this. So we're going to take out everything that's on the fringe. Anything that looks somewhat suspect. I think Pia Nalaar is one of the weaker 3-drops we have. I like Phoenix of Ash. Chainwhirler's great. Warboss and Rabblemaster are fantastic. If we were to play 16 lands, we would need to cut 3 cards from this. So let's take those out. Maybe Shivan Fire. Roast, possibly. This looks pretty good to me. I'm not going to lie. This deck is nasty. We're going to add 16 mountains. And that's mono red, drafted by me. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got this long, thank you so much for watching. It'd be really cool to come with like a back-to-back trophy video. That'd be great. But for now, I'm going to say thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time.